everybody. Welcome to lecture number 2 for Camp Jitterbug. I'm really excited to talk to you guys tonight, specifically because I wanted to talk about a topic that I don't think we get to talk about very much in the Lindy community as much as we used to, tap dance.
So we'll talk about tap dance yesterday.
Oh, no, not in this way though. I'm a little cray. Okay, so you learned from Mr. Buster Brown. Okay, Mr. Buster Brown is one of the most legendary tap dancers that ever lived. Dance with the copacetic, dance with pretty much actually almost everybody. Bunny Briggs, dance. Here's a question that I have for you because I was going through the names and I've been wondering this. Peg Leg Bass. Did you ever get the opportunity to perform on the same stage or get to talk to Peg Leg Bass?
Yes.
Can you please tell me?
We had a gig in Chicago, and Sarah Vaughan, she was on the show. The band, the Peg Leg Bass was on the show. Sunny Allen Rockets was on the show. And if I'm not mistaken, Mom Bailey was the comedian.
Okay.
So that means, yeah.
It's pretty big.
It was great, yes.
Oh my, okay, so what was the feeling like when you got to see him for the first time? Because I don't know if you understand.
Let me tell you this. Every Memorial Day, we would go up to Peg Leg Bass in Catskill.
Yeah.
We would go there, and he put on a show, you know. Buster would be in the show, you know. And they have a big show on Memorial Day. That's what he was putting out on Memorial Day.
Was that the turkey farm, did he?
It was a resort.
Yeah, but he also had a turkey farm.
Well, I don't know about this.
Oh, okay.
But this was a resort, and we used to go there, you know. And as usual, it would rain finally, and then we'd all be in the cabins, you know. That would happen every Memorial Day in New York. It would pour down raining before the day was over. But he would get his show in, you know. He'd get his show in, and then here comes the rain. But it was great to watch him.
So, in fact, for those of you that don't know, Peg Leg Bass, Clayton Bates was a man who had lost his leg in an accident, in a cotton gin accident. That's the machine that separates the cotton from the stems. And his mom had to amputate his leg on his kitchen table. And after his uncle came back and saw him, he's like, I can't have this, I'm gonna have to build you a wooden peg leg. But he wanted to dance, so what he ended up doing was going, I'm gonna be the best dancer I could possibly be, and he ended up making it work. And if you could watch videos on YouTube of Clayton Peg Leg Bass, this man can hop on the one peg multiple times in a row across the stage. That is a feat, okay? Then he can switch legs on top of it and tap the same rhythms that we can tap. Okay, this is a man with one leg and then the peg on the other one. So if you get the opportunity, well, you have an opportunity because the internet is out there. Please take the opportunity to watch Peg Leg Bass and some of these people that we're talking about, because to be in your position, to be able to dance alongside some of these people, watch them, to just dance some of the stuff that you did. To me, as a person who's been studying this art form pretty hard for a while now, it's an amazing feeling just to be in the room with you and to hear these stories. I'm being serious, because that's how I was. It's still like that with Chester. Chester just,
Oh, yes.
you know, but I get to talk to him, you know, fairly often, but it's,
Yes.
and I don't get to talk to you as much, and that was one of the things we were talking about, is I love talking to Chester because we get to talk about the little nuances in history and things like that. One of the things that again, with you specifically, that I was interested in, with your first partner, dance partner, you actually ended up winning 2 paintings, I believe, that were signed. You got one. What was the actual painting of? Because I could not find the, you know what I mean? Can you explain that?
That story?
We won a contest in Central Park in New York. And part of the prize was a painting made by Walt Disney. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And the contest was publicizing a short film he had coming out called Make Mine Music. And it was about a soda fountain where teenagers hung out. It was a jukebox, and they would do a Lindy. So that's why they had this contest, Lindy contest, publicized this movie. And the prize was my partner's prize. He painted him, not him, but it was like a boy, a teenage boy, in front of a jukebox. Mine was with my ponytail, because I always dance with a ponytail. And this girl had a ponytail. And we were dancing, a couple dancing in front of the jukebox.
That is the most amazing. You have this in your home?
It was stolen. Some friend or family person, I don't know, but it disappeared out of my house. It really did, yeah. It really did. No. Only one that saw it like in my family was like my mother, myself, my grandmother, just immediate family saw it,
So I did a little bit of research trying to find, and I'm like, I can't find nothing. That explains why I couldn't find nothing.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
No, it was stolen from me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But it was so great that he made this girl with her ponytail, and we were in there hopping by the jukebox, And he was like standing, like a kid would be standing and put money in the jukebox, Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
What do you
1945.
Think about that.
1945.
Think about that real hard. What animated cartoon came
Make My Music was an English. That was Disney. Yeah, that's why we had the contest. It was for that movie. And I looked it up. when this year. And it was just a short, it was a short movie, And I said, oh my gosh, I found it, Make My Music, And in the jukebox, in the soda fountain, teenagers in there dancing, yeah.
Do you want to answer? Chester looks like he's contemplating really
from?
hard.
You know how I use that.
Chester's gonna go find this,
Well, I'll find it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the same thing almost to take me off the cast.
Say that again.
All cats, right?
Oh.
Yes, I remember that, all cats doing it, right?
Doing that with the time, Walt Disney with a lot of stuff. That had the jukebox, exactly
Yeah.
like you said, with the movie, and it was, that's something every time. That's why I asked you
Javon.
here.
Right.
I'm very curious because I know I did research with coming to see Dumbo. Remember Dumbo?
Yeah.
And it had,
Love Dumbo.
and two crows in there. Have you ever seen an elephant fly? I've never seen an elephant. And if you look real carefully, the crows are real Susie Q and all the
They
dancing.
were kind of
They-
yeah.
Now, this is going to blow your mind. In 1998, I worked with a lady named Sue Black. And she asked me to come teach her a place. And I said, well, you look for me for a teacher. Why? My dad told me to come teach my kids and people. I said, well, who's your dad? Guess who it was? Pineapple Jackson. Pineapple Jackson, the first Afro-American in the Little Rascal series.
Oh,
The Little Rascal. He went to Disney, him and his brothers. They did an audition. Disney filmed them. And rotoscoped them and drew over their bodies and made the crows. That was Pineapple Jackson and his brother. They said they didn't use it until 1998. It was made Rusty Franks, so got the film back out, and it was a lawsuit, and they just never paid it back. Oh 40 years. They got paid back.
Okay.
So that's what I said. There's a lot of research and jazz stuff that's out there when you look at history. That's why I like to cut and match. And it's remarkable. He said, oh, that's wow. And because Disney, he said he had his hands in a lot of, especially in jazz. Jazz, what's that? Call it the swinging a dream. Yeah, the big production put money out. They were big productions, but they were held up. Jump for Joy. There's another one that was in 14 weeks, but never get it wrong. But it's interesting with all the animation, these cartoons and all that.
So you're talking about that, Eric. So you may be doing the same thing that you was doing, because because the thing about it is you were talking about the music during that time, and then my brain immediately went to the cabaret part. During like which happened, it started in the late 1928, I think, or 1929, and went all the way through 1965. Was it? Yeah. Okay. And that completely, I don't think people understand how much that changed the course of jazz, because at that particular time, this is the thing that happened in New York. Cabaret Cart was you had to basically go get fingerprinted book to be able to perform in a nightclub, or technically speaking, any facility that sold food and alcohol, which meant if you were an artist, everywhere. So you had to pay for this fee, and there was a lot of not nice people. There was a lot of bribery going on. People that got their cabaret cards taken away that you might know of. Billie Holiday. Yeah, Thelonious Monk is another one who got out of a lot because he knew some people and things like that. But I think the most important was Charlie Parker, because Charlie Parker, and basically with Thelonious Monk, created bebop, and having to not be able to play, he had to go to a completely different place with not as pristine jazz musicians. What would have happened if he stayed there? That music would have evolved possibly even more, which means that Disney would have heard something different, which means the dance style might have been different. We might have evolved even more if we weren't so restricted. So if you don't know about the cabaret card, that's another thing that you should probably look into, because our elders, they know all about this stuff. They grew up around this stuff, they were taught this stuff. I did a lot of research on my own, and then I found Chester, and then I went nuts. I went more nuts, and my goal, and he knows this too, is to be better than him one day. He knows that too. I have no problem saying that, because I'm cool with Cocoa Puffs. Okay, but he's also so okay. But the meaning for this meeting with me and you guys was to try to inspire the next generation to learn a little bit more about the history that they may not know, but also to inform you that dance is a happy thing. It's a loving thing, and when you get the opportunity to be yourself and do it, that's the best feeling in the world. So when you're out taking a class, or you're out in the real world, and you're worried about what other people think about you, you should probably stop doing that, because they're doing the same thing. They're worried about themselves. No one's thinking about you but you. So the best thing that you can possibly do as a dancer, as a human being, is to just push yourself and not rely on other people's opinions, because frankly, you don't necessarily know where those opinions come from unless they've actually been studied and they're talking to you and they have history and background and knowledge, like these people here. One of the things that me having the opportunity to talk with my elders in various genres of dance, the most important thing that I hear, and I heard it again today from Chester, was, and this is my thing too, there's not enough questions, there's not enough whys, there's not enough, how do you do this, or where does this come from, or there's a lot of afraid to ask questions, and so don't be afraid for this little bit of time we have right now. Like if we're talking, put your hand up. Otherwise, the knowledge doesn't get shared. If the knowledge doesn't get shared, things don't get evolved. If things don't get evolved, we're stagnant. So raise your hand. Say that to you got one, Paul?
I do actually.
I love you. Thank you.
I've always been curious, and I've never heard anyone talk about it. at the Savoy, what was the floor like? Like, was it faster than this, slower than this, sticky? I've never heard anything about the actual floor.
Never sticky.
Never sticky.
There was a man, that was his job. Every day he was there, scraping gum or anything off of that floor. That floor was crisp. It was beautiful. I was told it's like, it was made in like 3 layers, and if you paid attention and stood on the floor, like when people were dancing, you could feel the floor bouncing. That actually is true. But you had to stand still in order to feel it. You could not be dancing, you never felt it, dancing. But when you stand still on that floor and the people are dancing, that floor was actually, like a vibrating thing. Yeah. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. My daughter can tell you how beautiful it was. She was maybe, 4 or 5? her and my son crawling across that floor. They grew up on, that was their playground in the daytime. That was their playground. The Savoy floor, while we were practicing over here, they'd be over here playing, And it was gorgeous. The whole place was gorgeous, The carpet we had was red and black and white, and it was beautiful. And it was a block long. Ballroom itself was a block long. So it had box seats, and then they had tables. There was a section where there was tables and chairs, and then there was a section where there was just chairs. Like you came alone, you don't want to drink, you just want to dance, so you need a seat, that type of thing. And they had that. There was the bandstand accommodated 2 full orchestras at the same time, because the music did not stop. When they opened at 10, 9, or the music hit at 10, it played straight through till 3 in the morning. But what they did was, a band would be playing. When it was time for their break, the second band would come on, join the song that the first band was playing. The first band would go off, the music never stopped. The second band would finish out that song, and then they go into their music. And this went on all night. You know what that is, right? Continuous. It was continuous music. Well, we didn't want to go to the bathroom. We run in the bathroom, and the matron would say, well, we'd be in there and say, what's going on? And she's just telling us, hurry up, come on, wash your hands. The band just changed. It just changed another song. That's what she would be telling us. We'd be running in and out like that. We didn't want to stop for anything. And that's the way ballroom was. It was just gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Thank you. That's a great question.
That was your question. Yes, Patrick.
Yesterday, we were talking about a place where teenagers went and hung out, and I wasn't sure what that place was, where you would go all day and practice dance. Was that?
The place I was talking about, you said I was going to practice all day. It was the Savoy Ballroom.
As a teenager.
Oh, no, as a teenager, that was the teenage canteen that we had in Harlem. It was put there by the Pepsi Cola Company, and they called it Pepsi Cola Club. They had a sign outside, and you could come in there from 13 to 18 years old. No adults were allowed, only the ones that worked there. If your mother or father wanted you, they come to the front desk and they ask for you, and someone would get you. Someone say, your mama wants to see you, your mama's here, or your father's here, one of those things. And they would come in once a month when we had our show. We would put on, the kids there would put on a show once a month. And then parents and friends could come in to see the show. And then after it was like a little party, yeah. That was the Pepsi Cola Club. That was great, yes.
I think on Friday you mentioned something about tap influencing jazz. Could you talk a little more about that?
Oh, tap influencing jazz.
tap influencing, like you're talking about jazz music, or because that's jazz is a very broad term. Okay. If we're talking about tap influencing jazz music, then I think we can't go past John Bubbles, or at least we need to start with John Bubbles, who's considered the father of rhythm tap. And before John Bubbles, everybody danced like Bill Robinson. Everything was in 8-bar phrases. You can usually repeat the pattern. It might be something on this side. It'd be something that. Yes. Thank you. It's very. Can you say that again?
The dancing was high off of the floor, more elevated. It's because now you see a lot of down here, but that was, you saw how his legs was bent a lot, so it was high off the floor.
So thank you. I wanted her to say it because she was speaking it so perfectly. And then John Bubbles came along, and he went to the Hoofers Club, and as a beginning tap dancer, and actually got laughed out of the Hoofers Club pretty hard. And he made it his mission to go back and become the one to.
Tessa was telling them yesterday about Bubbles.
Okay, so then you already know about John. Okay. So basically he went back and woodshedded in his actual shed, which is actually one of the ways that term comes from. I don't know if you knew that. The woodshedding part, that's one of that from John Bubbles. One of the things that they say is from John Bubbles, that term comes from woodshedding.
Tell them what woodshedding means.
Oh, woodshedding is when you're taking apart a particular movement or combination or even a dance and you're trying to perfect it over and over again. Another term for that in modern time days would be called deliberate practicing. It is a scientific method that has been studied. It is utilized by every single art form, except for some dancers today. I'm going to say it because it's true. I don't care. I'm going to say it because it's true. I'm just somebody said it, so I got it.
Say it.
Look, if you want to be a decent dancer, an amazing dancer, stop running the pieces. It don't help you but learn how to ingrain things that are not necessarily correct. You can run the piece, but then go back and work on that one move. And how many ways can you do that one move? And how many rhythms can you do that one move in? And how many shapes can you do that one movement in? Then you've now mastered that one movement. Then you can move on to the next step. When you move on to the next step, you do the same thing. Now you've invented new movements for yourself and learned how your own body works. We don't do that anymore. I'm sorry, it's really annoying to me to watch. It is, because listen, I was a professional musician, and then I started dancing, and you were one of the people, I don't know if you remember, you were sitting in this room, and you told me I had to choose between music and tap. And I was like, so I listened, and I put my horn down. And I picked them tap shoes up and I worked at it. And I studied at it, and listen to me. I just do dance. I don't do nothing else. My wife works for me. We got 3 kids. I don't do nothing but dance. Nothing. I just teach and educate and make sure that other people are trying to learn. This is a thing that can be viable. It's a thing that you can learn and grow and live your life off of if you want it. The problem is most people don't want to work to that level. I'm sorry, I'm going to be honest. When I study with these people and people like them, and I hear the training that they went through, Chester has told me, what I train myself is similar to what they train themselves in. And that's grueling because you have to be okay with, I'm not good at this. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not being good at something as long as you understand that that's a part of the process. It's a part of the process. Please understand. When you take your dance class.
It's a journey, not a destination.
What did you say, Sarah?
It's a journey, not
It's a journey, not a destination.
Thank you. It's a journey, not a destination. I should bring the mic over to you. She's saying, right out of my mouth. You're missing the point of the joy and the process. If you don't remember every little step that you've taken to grow, then you are forgetting who you are and where you come from. There's nothing wrong with asking people. I don't think I'm the greatest teacher in the world. I would never think I'm the greatest teacher in the world because there's always somebody that has something different than me. Different means I can obtain more knowledge. Doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's different means I can obtain more knowledge. Don't be afraid of something different. Don't be afraid of being who you are as a person and then learning some of these things. You learn how to count. You learn how to play music. You learn how to sing. You learn the same thing.
I didn't learn how to count.
5, 6, 7, 8.
That.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Remember, they count, do it Lindy Hop. I do not count.
It's a feeling.
If you're counting, you're not listening to the music. If you're counting, you're not listening to the beat of the music. I don't see how, I just don't see how to do that,
I can tell you how to do that.
I never learned that, and I don't.
No, that perfectly makes sense. So some people can't actually hear where they're supposed to be on the beat. So if you break things down in a way that they can understand, for instance, in jazz music, the strongest beats are beats 2 and 4. So if you're confused on where you are in the music, those are the beats that are setting up. You can hear those beats strong. At the end of a phrase, the drummer almost always sets it up. You can hear when the chord is going to change. Most of the music that you guys dance to is in AABA form or rhythm changes. You have 8 bars of something, 8 bars of the same chord changes, not same necessarily notes, chord changes, and you have something completely different, and then you go back to it again. That's 32 bars. There are dances, the Shim Sham, the BS chord. There's multiple dances that are in that form. And if you learn these little small snippet things, it makes learning dance so much faster and so much easier. So there are multiple ways to learn. I have kids that don't count, I have adults that don't count. There's nothing wrong with that. But what's wrong with learning in every way and finding which way works for you? That's what works for Sugar. That's what works for other people that I know out here. That doesn't work for me unless I've already gone through the process of counting it. So when I'm breaking it down for other people who don't understand the concept, sometimes I have to go scientifically and write it on the board and write it out for them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, where is your brand and what are you doing to get to the point where you want to be amazing? What are you doing for yourself?
Yes.
Yes. I want you to get on the mic. Come up here.
I ain't trying to yell, and I want to make sure everyone can hear my question. Okay, respectfully. I have been really curious about how the dynamics between the lead and the follow have or have not changed over all these decades. So I would love to hear from y'all kind of like what you learned, what you saw, what you were coached on when you were learning Lindy Hop and doing your performances and traveling the world. Like, your mentors, what did they tell you was good following or bad following, if anyone used that language? Like, what were the lessons you were getting on your roles?
I don't ever remember being taught how to follow. No one taught me how to follow. No, I can't say that so-and-so taught me how. No, I really can't. And then, got an answer for that? Chester?
Okay, especially we are doing what they call social dance. And they call the dance hall, what usually we call ballet, meaning it is a dance hall, a hall that you dance. When you talk about social dancing, it goes way back from 18th century all the way to 19th century. The leads follow, regardless if it's a guy or a girl. That's the purpose of the system of jazz dancing, or ragtime, or late hop jazz, or two-step Dixie, whatever we call it. Those are the meaning. When you start talking about social, meaning communication, talking to your partner. Okay? Leading and following. Somebody got to lead. Somebody got to follow. That's what a combination of dance and of all. It's always been there. especially when jazz came out, from the plantation. You don't realize that. Have you heard of ring shops, ring dances? Same thing. That tradition has been with us from the islands all the way to America. The only thing about America, we started evolving and making our own dances up. That's why, well, to tell you, America never had its own dance. Never. It never had its own music. We borrowed all this stuff until slavery came out, the blues came out, spirituals came out. There's over 1,500 styles of dancing. I can split that up into other styles of dancing that came out. And half of that is leading and following. You know, a lot of the just now figuring out that country and western was a black dance. People didn't even know about that. People kind of go way back. All the black cowboys. Gandhi dances, heard of Gandhi dances? Anybody heard about that? That's when Texas Tommy came out. Everybody think Texas Tommy come out of 1946? No. We know one step of Texas Tommy. Gandhi dancers created Texas Tommy, and that was invented by Afro-Americans and the Chinese that built the railroad across the country. Have you heard of the Iron Horse? The Iron Horse, leading, following, Texas Tommy. All of that came in. Plantation dancing, spiritual dancing, ring shops, cakewalks, bad dances. Bad dances were the beginning of what we call line dancing. That's when it started settling. And so the purpose of it, the meaning of it, has always been there. You know, so even when when you said when you look at your verse, Hall going out dancing, it's so boy, but I know she's been through many other ones. All of them were going on. Before she was dancing, there were people doing meetings and popping. Yes?
Follow-up question. So maybe you didn't get taught how to lead or follow, or what makes a good leader or follow, but what did y'all, like, with your friends, on your dance teams, like, surely y'all talked about, like, oh, so-and-so, best lead in the room. Like, what made y'all talk about other styles of leading and following? Like, what did you look for? What did you dismiss, maybe? Like, what did y'all talk about when you viewed other people's dancing?
Oh, you mean like if we say like we're in the hood, we're talking about that. It's the same thing about dancers come out. I'll put it like this. A dance is not recognized until it's commercialized. Okay? And where did that come from? Jazz dance is raw when it goes into a production. Who holds the meaning of jazz dances? Can you understand? Anybody know that? The Afro-American Black Chorus, they hold the library of jazz steps. Where did that come from? Neighborhood. The same way with hip hop. I never heard of going to a hip hop school. That was never invented. We learned our steps in the hood, in the alleys, in the tap dancing. That wasn't called tap dancing, it was called buck dancing. It was buck dancing. I had to go to either out towards the town on the dirt road and learn the steps, or going to the hood, or a saloon. It was never, we never had a dance studio with new steps, and whoever had that step and changed it and evolved into it and add on to it, they would bring a female or male artists. They were artists. That's why Bill Robinson took all them and traveled the country. Bubbles was great because he studied the music and he said, okay, this works here, this doesn't work here. He created rhythm dance. I mean, you heard of the Witness Sisters. You know? Don't know the Witness Sisters, you know, I know who they are. They took whatever they had, they were the first African production team that traveled across the country, and they took all the elements out of the urban areas. Longest one, yes, correct. And how many great stars came out of the Witness Sisters? Oh, you know some of them. We had some of them on this ballroom, on this floor. Chaz Young, okay? He came out first as Whitman Sisters and then Sadie and Mary Bruce. How many know about that? I'm throwing names at you, but these are names you should know. If you're going to endure into this world of jazz and swing. They were the first ladies that taught all the chorus women across the United States. One in Chicago, one in New York City. Jenny LeCun came out of that. Skip Cunningham came out of that. They were all here. They're all here. And one of the greatest, and he created our fanfare line dance, the first jazz line dance with Australia. Leonard Reed came out of that. So we talk about where do I get, who we talk about people or who grabbed what. And he was found because he was born in Teak. Nobody know about he was born in Teak. He's in the streets. He was the best Charleston dancer out there. We found him, oh, get this guy. Oh, she's good over here. Oh, here's another note. You know those pants that you see in the 1930s the women wear with the buttons going like this? Jitty LeGon created that. There's different people in urban districts that came out and had to make their name on the hip hop. When you say buck dancing, there was a lot of great dancers in dancing. They never reached that plateau. These are the stars, these are not because they were not bad dancers, they just didn't know the knowledge of taking what they know about hip hop or tap dancing or vernacular dancing out, and somebody goes, oh, they need to put this on the stage. Now they're elevating them. Now their names are going out into the world. They're the ones going to be superstars. That's how names got old. So. We had so many people that, like I said, we helped each other talk, you know. So that's how, I can tell you about jazz, that's how it fluctuated. And then Ziegler Bobby picked up. Bubbles was the main act. Then Bill Robson became. Jenny LeGon, first Afro-American woman, they got a major contract on MGM. 1930 or $1,200 a week. That's equivalent to $28,000 a week. Yes, the highest paid black woman. So this is history, but I'm just saying, growing up, stuff that Sugar's done, she's hitting ballrooms after ballroom until she found that big one, boom, Savoy. This is it.
No, I did not. I did not hit ballroom after ballroom. I went to Savoy first. When I became old enough to go to Savoy, which I was 18 years old, I went there at 16, and the man told me to go home and get my mom.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, how old I have to be to come in here? He said 18. So I went there at 18. Yeah. So, but I didn't go to any other ballroom. Not before. Or after, after we all, we kind of circulated. But we went to Savoy every night. Every night, God bless you. Yeah, we were there every night at Savoy. And your question is, nobody taught me how to follow. When I went to Savoy, they was teaching me steps. They grabbed me and swung me out. And what I had been watching at night, how these girls, some of them, they run out, run back to the bar, and I like footwork, move your feet, do something with your feet, with your legs, And I would do a corkscrew back then, I had different little quirky things that I would do with my feet. But I did that on my own. You have to discover some stuff for yourself. You got a mirror, get in front of it. You'd be surprised what you can come up with.
They got phones.
Yes.
They got phones now. They can just record themselves doing slow motion.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
See? Yeah.
I'm old-fashioned, okay? but that's true. You can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. Yes, Kevin.
What is the culture?
One of the teachers did it at the other night when they would when did the meet and greet, for everybody. I saw one of the teachers, and I told my daughter, I said, "Look, she did my corkscrew." She said, "Yeah, Mama. Okay, yeah, Mama." It's you throw the girl out, and as she's coming back in, it's a corkscrew step that you do. Your leg goes out and turns around like that as you're coming back into your partner. Yeah, it's corkscrew. Yeah. So, like I said, you have to find things for yourself. You know, you got to figure out some steps of your own. Nobody shouldn't have to tell you how to follow, to come back in. Okay, your partner, he'll stir you with turns and that type of thing. But as far as what you do with your feet, your hands, your legs, that's up to you. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
I want to know what your thoughts are on allowing the dance to continue to evolve as it did when it was born, or like versus preserving moves and keeping them like in a bubble in honor of what it was in like the heyday of the Savoy. Because it sounds like it's like, find what you do for yourself, which is evolving the dance by learning a specific set that was already evolved, and we've just kind of maintained it in memory of when Lindy Hop was evolving and,
Is there a way you can rephrase the question?
I don't know, I've heard people...
Like you're saying you want to preserve,
I've heard people's opinions of like, oh, just forget that move. That was something then.
I didn't say forget anything.
I know.
Learn it all. No, you don't forget nothing. You learn it all.
No,
and then but you add what you want to put in there.
Okay.
Along with it. No, you don't forget what came before. You keep the dance going on, because like we say, the Savoy Lindy. The Savoy Lindy was different from most Lindys that you see. And I'm sorry that I can't really show you the way it should be done, But everybody has a way of doing the dance Lindy. All over the country, everybody. But you got that. As long as you got that swing out, that's keeping it alive. That swing out came from the Lindy. And if you want to add something other than that, that's fine. But don't get rid of what was there. Because that's the Lindy. If you get rid of that, then you're changing it to something else. You have to keep the Lindy, but then you add your little touch to it. Just like the aerials, I see different aerials nowadays that we used to do. I've seen them embellish on the ones that we used to do. But I can see where it came from. I can see how they beginning of what we did and how they made it better. Some of them are more tricky, harder to do, but they look beautiful and they look exciting and dangerous. But you keep what you had and you just embellish on it, you make it better. You make it better. That's what you do. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to wrap up here pretty quick. We're gonna get one more question. Yes.
I'm curious about
for dancing? I know that it was mainly for dancing, but were there other functions happening there?
Savoy was a dance ballroom. Okay? There was dances every night. Dancing was every night. Different organizations rented the Savoy on some nights, but it was a dance. You know, it was a dance. It wasn't used for anything, you know, like put tables on the dance floor. No. There was a dance floor, and it was a ballroom, and they danced every night. Oh, now we had square dancing. We had Latin night. We even went back as far as cakewalk. You know, we even did a cakewalk type thing one night with cakewalk and Charleston and Shag. All those little dances we brought back. But it was still dancing, just dancing, you know. It was still dance. When we had square dancing, they put red plaid tablecloths on the table. They had stacks of hay around them, back in the ballroom, you know. We had on our Western outfits, and they hired a caller, a professional caller, for square dancing. And that's what we did that night, was square dancing. Yeah. That's what they would do. Latin night, we had Latin night. They had contests with the different dances. We did mambo, cha-cha, you know, merengue and all of that. Yeah. We had contests, and we would go to Palladium and we would challenge them. Our good ballroom dancers, Latin dancers would go to Palladium and we challenged them at their ballroom, you know. Yeah. But it was a ballroom for dancing, and that's what we did dance.
Hey, I just wanted to ask one question for the both of you, starting with Chester first, so we can wrap this up. If you could leave the next generation of dancers with one message, and only one message, what would that message be? I know I'm evil. If you could leave the next generation of dancers with one message and only one message, what would that be?
We know each other very well.
No, be truthful to yourself. That's number one. If you don't be truthful to yourself, you're shucking and jiving, you dance, singing, acting, whatever you're doing, you're not going nowhere. You think you're going to go through life, oh, no, I got this. No, you can't tell me. It doesn't work. That's my message.
When you see someone that can help what you're trying to do, don't be afraid to ask them questions. You know, don't be afraid to ask a question and be open. Keep yourself open for advice. Well, you can't tell me nothing. I know it. No, yeah. No, you don't know it all. I'm 93 and I don't know it all. Okay? I see some things now on YouTube, you know, goodness, I didn't do that. And I'm talking about dancing. You know, so stay open with your dancing, you know. There's plenty to learn. There's plenty to learn. I can still learn something, okay? Oh, my daughter's here. This is Cheryl.
I have one thing to say. Growing up under the Lindy Hop, there was family. We were family. That's what you keep with you, which means love, support. You're gonna fight, yeah. Missed, you couldn't quit. You couldn't disappear. We were a tight-knit family. That's what you keep with you. You know, there's all different cultures in this game. must hold it together because it ain't about nothing but what? The dance. That's what it's about. That's the commonality between all of us. This new world we're in, that doesn't matter. It's the dance. It's the Lindy Hop, swing, whatever else you want to call it. That's what it's about. It's about family and the love of the dance. And that's all dances. When you come together with any dance, if you're here for the dance, that's what it's about. It ain't about nothing else. That's what brings us together. So hold on to that. And with the dance comes love, because that's why you're here. You're all the family of the Lindy Hop, of hip hop, of jazz. You're all the family of all of those genres. And that's what you hold on to. And if you hold on to that, they can't come between you. Nobody can come between you. Nobody can break you up. Because that's what y'all come here for. That's why you go to all of these dance camps, to learn and do the dance. And you all come together under the dance, whatever the dance is.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank our guests for coming and sharing their thoughts and their gifts today, because we don't get this opportunity. And thank you so much for coming. I do want to say we do have the preliminaries for the couples coming up here, so if you guys haven't met already over there in the hall, you probably will do that. Let's give Chester and Sugar one more round of applause.